Okay, can you talk about kind of the journey a little bit? I mean, you really weren't very highly recruited, and then here you are sitting in SEC Media Days. What's that feel like?
Yeah, I came out under the radar and ended up the right spot. South Carolina is where I was destined to be.
They fake it to Davis. Smelling. Fires. Complete. Touchdown. Patrick DiMarco, the fullback.
Garcia's pass is caught. Touchdown, Gamecocks. Patrick DiMarco, the tight end, makes the grab.
Ryan throwing wide open for the touchdown is Patrick DiMarco. Play fake. Ryan throwing, end zone, touchdown. And once again, Patrick DiMarco, who has now scored his first 2 touchdowns of this NFL season.
Cause I've heard all the stories of the great George Rogers. Now back in 1980, he made the whole nation holler. And I've seen that photograph of young Steve Tannehill on that old Death Valley, signing his name on the field. Yeah, and I love the year 2001 and Phil Williams, Bryce Rock. Oh, what else can I say? Until my dying day, I'll be a South Carolina.
And he will be until his dying day. It faded out a little bit there at the end. But Pat DiMarco, newly retired, former Gamecock, and now 10-year NFL veteran in the books. He'll always be a Gamecock, and he joins us today on this Friday afternoon. First and foremost, my friend, congratulations. What a career. What a career. This is day one, waking up to the rest of your life. How does it feel, my friend?
Oh, man, there's peace in it. After listening to those highlights and the broadcast stuff, man, I'm like, shoot, did I do this too early? Maybe I got another couple of months in me, but no, I'm at peace being home with my family and enjoying it, man. It was a heck of a run. 10 years from a 2-star coming out of high school, and then, I thought I was going to gray shirt, red shirt at South Carolina, and played all 4 years, set the school record for games played in.
Yep.
I mean, God aligned everything the way he did for a reason. And, undrafted to San Diego, broke my foot third day. I mean, just testament to just perseverance and keep plugging along, man. It's 10 years in. I mean, it's looking back, I'm like, man, it could have easily been 0. So I'm blessed.
I've laughed a little bit over the last couple of days, Pat, because as you've announced your retirement, I've seen across social media people saying things to you, and you've laughed about it as well. Oh, I remember when you committed, and everybody goes, why the hell did we take a commitment from a 2-star fullback out of Florida? But you ended up playing the most games of anybody ever to put on the uniform at South Carolina. You played for 4 years, no red shirt needed, 38 catches, 302 yards, 6 touchdowns. In your time under Coach Spurrier, over 50 catches in the NFL, 4 touchdowns there and over 400 yards. You had a Pro Bowl, 5 career playoff games, lost in a Super Bowl in overtime, nonetheless, with the Falcons 34-28. But, when it's not the stats, it's the consistency. I mean, I've known you a long time, and I feel like that is maybe what you're most proud of, is the fact that you overcame a lot of obstacles, and not only did you overcome them to play football at the college level and at the pro level, you played a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, I showed up every day and I brought my work pail. Those were things that, my first year I was like star-studded. I mean, I love this game. Like, this game is me. I've played it since I was in 3rd grade. So, like, I'm not one of those guys that's going to shy you away and say, I just like playing the game. No, I love everything about this game. And that's why that was what drove me, and what drove me to want to be one of the best to do it. And, it's just, I mean, I had such a good support staff around me too. I mean, my wife, Kirsten, we got 2 young ones now, and I'm so thankful that they were able to experience less than 4 years of me playing, and 2 years of me playing, where they saw daddy with the jersey on, the helmet, and they experienced the sideline stuff. When I went, actually, funny story, when I went to go to Columbia to go tour the facility, is a meet with Shane and everyone. My son woke up like 2 minutes before I was about to leave, and he saw me wearing like a Gamecock shirt. He goes, Daddy, are you going back to play for the Gamecocks? I was like, no, buddy, I'm just going to talk to some of their coaches and see their new facilities and stuff. I was like, Daddy's not playing football anymore. But, you know, it's so cool to experience that with young ones. There's something that I dreamed of when I was with some older guys, my younger years. Like, I'm like, I want to have kids, and I want them to experience this and see Daddy work hard and, you know, come home after work and love on us. So, and, you know, I'm like, kind of got chills thinking of it, man. I foreshadowed it like 7 or 8 years ago, and then I lived it out. It was really cool.
Yeah. You know, Pat, a couple of times ago when you were on, a few weeks ago on our show, you told the story about Coach Spurrier's offer to play for South Carolina. But what we never talked about was when you arrived in Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
When you first walked into the locker room, and let's remember that was a very talented locker room, even though 2007, 2008, 2009 didn't necessarily yield the results that the following few years did. There was a ton of talent on that program. When you walked in, how did you feel that you fit in the SEC with that group of players?
Oh man, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was intimidated, man.
Mm-hmm.
First person, I stepped on the elevator. We were at Bates West at the time. I remember this vividly.
Oh, God.
With my parents, we were going to load up my dorm room. Garcia was probably drinking in the apartment waiting for me.
Yeah.
but Cliff Matthews and Byron McKnight were on the elevator going up like right when I got there. And, you know, Cliff is 6'6" and Byron's 6'7", and I'm like 6'1". I'm looking up to him like, "Up, guys." Like, can't wait to have to try to block you. It shouldn't be very fun, but I'm going to give it all I got. But I mean, the thing is when I got there, I knew I was going to be fighting an uphill battle. And I had the chip on my shoulder being a 2-star. I mean, I think I ended the year after my senior year. I was like the 30th ranked prospect in the state of Florida out of every single prospect. I mean, there were a bunch of 4-star guys that were in the same recruiting class that were ranked 60th, 70th in the state that were 4-stars, number 2-star. So I knew that I could do it, and I was confident that I could do it. I knew, I'd worked so hard. Like my parents, that was the only year my parents, after my senior year of football, high school football, my parents paid for me to do some training, to do some personal training, to get myself like in tip-top shape and prepared to go there to live out my dream. And thanks to my parents for doing that, because I know that was a big contribution they had to make. But I mean, I knew I was intimidated, but I was excited. I was nervous. I mean, so many mixed emotions. But you know, I never turn down. If something's hard, I embrace that. That's what excites me. Easy stuff, like that's not really what I've said to some of my friends in the NFL is like the easy stuff. That's not really my way. Like I prefer the hard stuff.
Pat, if you were intimidated when you got to South Carolina, how did you feel the first time you walked into an NFL locker room?
Small. I mean, like I said, I love the game. So like, you know, my journey was very unique where I was lockout year, 2011, undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working at a gym in Columbia, South Carolina, training because I didn't get drafted. I'm like, man, like let's let this lockout break so these guys can sign undrafted free agents so I can know I have a job. And the first day went by, nothing. Second day came by, my agent called me and said the Chargers want to sign you. And I get there and I'm in incredible shape. I'm ready for it. I'm like so pumped, but like Phillip Rivers, Sean Phillips, Ryan Matthews, Malcolm Floyd. I mean, these guys are sitting there and I'm just like I'm star-studded. Like who am I? I'm a 22-year-old kid who's a 2-star who like was just lucky to get the opportunity to chase a dream. So, I mean, I took it all and I embraced it. I think I still have I was only in San Diego for like 2 weeks because I broke my foot the third day of camp, but
right.
I got my way out to make sure I took like an extra pair of San Diego socks because I wanted to remember the experience and I wanted to take it all in. You guys are getting a really good view of who Pat DiMarco is. This guy's weird.
No,
he's got
no.
socks. He's got socks from everywhere.
Okay. No, I've had a better view at times than any of the stories you could probably tell publicly on this show. Pat, did you ever when you were going through what you were going through earlier in your career, and again, you became a Pro Bowler in 2015. You were an NFL PA rep. I mean, you were the dude on these. That's what you became in your career. You were the dude on these teams. You were the seasoned vet. You were the spokesperson for your organization. You're one of the most respected guys, if not the most respected guy in the locker room. But early on, you went through adversity with injuries, and you just told some of those stories. You look around and you see who you see in the NFL. Did it ever cross your mind that this just maybe wasn't for you? And what I mean by that is, did you ever think about hanging it up? Where you, hey man, this is enough. I can't go through the grind and of trying to rehab myself consistently, stay positive. I'm behind the 8 ball. Did you ever have those thoughts, or was quitting never an option?
Definitely had those thoughts go through my head. I mean, when I broke my foot my rookie year, I mean, I was undrafted. Like, Jones fracture in your foot is something that like lingers on for a long time, and it's something that might happen again. And I ended up having 2 surgeries on my foot. So the first one didn't work out. So I had Dr. Andrews up in Charlotte had to come in, take that screw out, and put a new one in. So what should have took 12 or 13 weeks took 6-7 months. So when I finally got cleared, Dr. Guy helped a lot through this process as well. I did all my therapy back in Columbia with Clint Haggard and that whole staff. So thanks to them as well. But after I got cleared, I went back up to the Chargers for them to clear me, like release me. Those two came hand in hand. And I knew I had a red flag on me. So I knew I needed to explore some other options. So, I mean, not many people know this story, but I was sitting in Coach Berger's office and I expressed my interest, and he goes, DiMarco, I'd love to have you come back and be a GA. You can get your grad degree. You can get into this coaching world and experience this side of football. I mean, he's like, Pat, you're so sharp on the field that you'll definitely excel in this arena. And I'm like, and he's like, you just got to go take your GRE, do your test, and then we'll make it work from there. So, long story short, I was 3 days away from taking the GRE and, get the results in 2 or 3 weeks and send them to Coach Berger and go through the process of being a GA. And the Chiefs called 3 days before I was slotted to take the test.
Wow.
And, my agent called me and he goes, hey, Pat, what do you weigh right now? I'm like 222 or 221, whatever I was at the time. And he goes, Chiefs want you to be 232 tomorrow. You got to work out. Good luck. So me and my girlfriend at the time, Kirsten, my wife now, we drove to the nearest convenience store, bought like 2 liters of Gatorade, and I just started chugging. I got there and I weighed 231, so 1 pound shy of where they wanted. Had to run a 40-yard dash. God knows what that time was. And the rest is history. I was in there, but I mean, Jack Easterby, that year that I was hurt, I was in a dark place. I thought that, before my career, before I even had a chance, like, it was taken away from me. How I broke my foot was like the biggest fluke thing in the world. I like reeled back on a backside cutoff block. I made a really good block, but when I rolled over my foot, I felt a pop in my foot. And being a stubborn rookie fullback, like, I didn't think anything about it. I finished practice on it. Was in a bunch of pain, was able to like open up and run, but man, jogging and walking were like, I mean, my adrenaline was going. So when like the play started, I was like, okay, the pain's gone. I got to go. And then as I'm like jogging back to the huddle and this and that, like a couple of coaches were like, you all right? You all right, DiMarco? And I'm like, I'm fine. And then as I went in the training room, I'm like, man, I was, it was the second day of practice, third day of practice. I was like, I get some ice for my foot. I didn't want anybody to know I was hurt. I was going to do this myself. This was my opportunity. And I sit on the trainer goes, let me look at it real quick. I jumped on the table, took my shoe off. He goes, what did you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I was playing football and something, felt a little pop in my foot, but I'm fine. I'm good. Just give me some ice. And he goes, let me evaluate you real quick. And he's like, buddy, you broke your foot. When did this happen? I was like, second play inside, like the first period of practice. And he goes, and you finished? I'm like, yeah, was I not supposed to? So, I mean, I went through, my story is cool. And, but I just, no one was going to tell me I couldn't do it. I was going to seek that out to the end until I literally couldn't do it until I exhausted every opportunity or every avenue for that chance. I mean, I was gonna annoy my agent. I did. I was everything I had to do to get my chance because I knew I was good enough. I knew I could do it. I had that faith in myself. I mean, it was. I'm sitting in my office now. Like, it's what an incredible journey. What an incredible ride.
1:50 on this Friday afternoon. Pat DiMarco, newly announced or newly retired, I should say. Pat DiMarco, a 10-year NFL vet, former South Carolina Gamecock, sharing his story. Pat, what do you want to do? You don't have to make a decision today, obviously, but at some point in time, I know you're not going to sit around. You're going to go do things, and you might play a round of golf or two to think it through. But what do you want to do with your future?
Like this whole year, I mean, or I guess 2020 in general was such a weird year because a lot of time at home, a lot of time with the family. Huge blessings on that end. Getting hurt and my career coming to an end playing wise. I've been seeking out opportunities and at least exploring stuff. I started some grad school to try to spark some interest. I've through the blessings of playing in the NFL, I've been able to do some pretty cool investments. I invested in some real estate up in like Greenville, Asheville, through the Cliffs communities. So I've dabbled in real estate a little bit, and then I'm partnered with a group that bought some Dunkin' Donuts franchises out in Denver, Colorado. So we got some really cool stuff going, and I want to continue to explore those arenas. But I mean, I would be dumb to sit here and tell you that my heart still isn't in the game of football. I mean, this is very new, not playing, not doing it. It was what ticked my clock for, just started playing in third grade. I've played football every year of my life since third grade. So I'm interested in staying involved in the football realm. What exactly that looks like, I don't know. I'm starting to kind of explore some of those options, and I have some feelers out there about some possible opportunities. But if you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. And I don't feel like I say I retired, but I was playing football. I retired from playing football. I wasn't like, that wasn't work to me. That was, I was playing a child's game up until I was 31 years old. So if I can continue in the football world of things, that would definitely pull on my heartstrings and make me happy and fulfill me. And I know my wife Kirsten's all supporting for me doing that. And my son's has basically been like, Daddy, you're really good at coaching my soccer team. I think you should maybe coach football. I'm like, buddy, our soccer team went 2-8 last year. So hopefully our 4-year-old soccer team was not real good, but I don't think that had anything to do with coaching because it's hard to coach 4-year-olds play soccer.
Yeah.
So, I would love to coach. I would love also the player development side. I'd love the GM side and the evaluation of talent because I know what it looks like. I've experienced it. I've lived it. I've done the business side of it through the NFLPA. I feel like I've have all scopes of football besides the install and recruiting process. So whatever it is in the football realm, I think I'll be happy. But like you say, there's nothing I have to jump on right now. Lord's blessed me good enough so I can take some time and evaluate what I want my life to look like. Me and my wife, we love Atlanta. We love the church we're members at. We love the country club we're members at. We have we've set our roots here the last 7 years. So it's going to be hard to up and leave Atlanta, but wherever life takes us, she's like, let's do it. We played football. We journeyed with you playing football for so many years. What's moving again, Pat? And I'm like, I love you, babe. She's way cooler and way better than me. She's a South Carolina grad too, so
that's right.
I'm not surprised.
That's right.
Did you have you seen the show? I think it's on it's Apple TV or Prime. Ted Lasso. He's a football coach who went and starts coaching soccer over in England or something.
I think I saw the very first episode of that, and golly, that's probably what I look like out there coaching 4-year-old soccer.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah, I don't know that I can coach soccer. I just don't. I don't know anything about it. I don't sport where you use
net ball.
Yeah, but it's a sport that you use your head and not your hands. It doesn't make sense to me. Pat, what do you have to offer young young men, if you were to coach football? Obviously, yeah, okay, so you were a 10-year NFL veteran. Well, there's a lot of 10-year NFL veterans that might not be very good coaches. What do you have to offer young men who are looking to not only better themselves on the gridiron, but try to start their lives and make the right choices 16, 17, 18 and on up, to make sure that the rest of their life is what it should be? It's successful, and whatever successful is defined by them. What do you have to offer a young man?
I mean, honestly, that's another reason. I mean, I love the game of football, but I also love watching or experiencing, because I haven't really sat back and been able to watch it, but like seeing a rookie come in the NFL who has no idea what he's doing with his money, and be able to like sit down and have a conversation with him about what he should plan for, and the mistakes that I made, and the tips that I have to help him, and the people I can connect him with. Like, those are just things that, I mean, I learned by the burn during my time, because I didn't have kind of those resources and those people to bounce things off of. And I made sure, like, when I felt comfortable enough to do it, I was like, I'm not going to hold anything to myself that I can pass on to these younger guys to alleviate their growing pains of being in the NFL. So I just, like, I mean, as you guys know, I told you I stole socks from the San Diego Chargers. I'm real. I'm honest. Like, you're going to get like my genuine self. And you're going to get a lot of heart. Like, the thing that, like, that tugs on me the most, and I hope that my teammates feel that after I'm retiring, is that, like, man, I hope I did it right. I hope my teammates felt the love and the joy and the passion that I felt around them every day. Like, feel like I'm getting emotional sitting here in my office talking to you guys about this, because like, that's what it's about. The relationships you create when you play this great game of football, I mean, especially in the NFL, it's such revolving doors that these relationships, like, you really care and love the guy that lines up to your left and to your right. I had a conversation with Devontae Freeman, who I played with in Atlanta for 3 years, on New Year's Eve, and he called me, like, borderline, like kind of like emotional, like, Pat, man, I'm sitting here in New Jersey. He's with the Giants at the time, like, by myself on New Year's Eve, and I'm just thinking about my life and everyone that's had influence on me. And he goes, Pat, like, I know I've expressed it to you before, but Pat, you don't know how big of an influence you've been on my life, and how you've helped me so much. And I'm like, and this was like, we were about to put the kids to bed, and I'm like, Kirsten, you got both the kids. I'm talking to free. Sorry, babe. And I talked to him for 30, 45 minutes. So these are the things that are pointing me to, like, staying in this game, and continuing to help and develop and love on these guys that might not have that many other places besides in that locker room, and through the coaching staff and all that stuff. So I have a lot of wisdom when it comes to ball. I mean, I love that game. I like to think I've mastered a portion of it. So X's and O's, like, that's no biggie for me. What really pulls on my heartstrings is pouring into young men. I mean, I think the most influential time, I was so blessed to have such great coaches during my time, but Robert Gillespie and Jay Graham I had during college, my running backs coaches, those guys have changed my life. So that's the type of stuff that I feel like, and I feel like I owe it to myself to give it back to guys in those same shoes. I want to be as influential on guys as they were on my life. I mean, they directed me in so many ways. My running backs coach in the NFL, two of them, Robert Turner, Bobby T in Atlanta, and then Kelly Skipper up in Buffalo. I mean, those guys, like, as I'm having kids, were showing me what it looked like to be a father. We're showing me what it looked like to be a husband. I mean, this stuff, I mean, you just learn, like, you're never too old to learn. You're never too mature to learn, if you just reach out to right sources and love on people and be vulnerable. And those guys, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for my whole supporting staff. I mean, I'm so grateful for so many people.
It's 2:00, and we're just going to roll through the top of the hour here just a few minutes, because Darren and I, we do whatever the hell we want to do because it's our
we can, and nobody can tell us what to do. But I'm not going to keep you forever, Pat. But just a couple more minutes. Who have you heard from? I mean, I know that
that those close to you have kind of known this was coming for a while. And I don't mean a while, like a long time, but just recently. But in the last 24 hours, you mentioned the impact that coaches had on you, and you mentioned Devontae Freeman, that story, and what he said, the impact you had on his life. Whom have you heard from in the last 24 hours from South Carolina, from the NFL, and what have they said to you?
I mean, I've had such an overflowing amount of support and love and congratulations. And I mean, I can't even, I mean, I could scroll through my phone and look through my text messages and my phone calls, and like, I'm not even caught up on social media. I mean, former teammates, former coaches, former administration, owners of ball clubs. I mean, I've kind of felt it from everywhere, like friends at the church. Some of my kids they go to the little church school up there. Like, those parents have reached out to me. You know, my high school teammates, my high school coaches. I mean, it's just been left and right, and it's been so overwhelming. And in my announcement, I said, like, you know, to all the family and friends out there, I know you guys have been on this journey with me since day one, and I'm so grateful for you guys, because there's so many people that, like, you want to thank through the process, but you know people are going to slip through the ropes. And I mean, I got an army behind me, and I'm so thankful and grateful for that. So if you're out there and you're listening, and we haven't talked in any period of time, man, thank you. I appreciate you, Gamecock Nations, all the Falcons fans, Bills Mafia. If you guys are in Charleston, South Carolina, thank you. I'm so blessed.
How does that make you feel, knowing that all these people are reaching out to you to thank you for playing football?
I mean, I borderline like reach back out to people, and I'm like, no, thank you for supporting me. I couldn't have done this without you, without your love and support. I mean, it is crazy what the impact that this game has, and just sports in general have on people's lives. And it's one of the most amazing things. And Coach McDermott up in Buffalo, like one of his like big idea pictures of growing the team was like, man, or he'd say, man, like during training camp, there's 90 of us in that locker room. And he goes, there's 90 of us here, and we're all from different backgrounds. Not one of us are from the same backgrounds that had the same experiences. And man, we're here for one common goal, and that's to win football games and to love on each other and to develop this team. And that's just, I mean, that's the stuff that resonates with me, and that's the stuff that I want to pass on to, you know, the people that love this game as much as I do. Is like, you know, it's a blessing to wear the jersey. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And a lot of time investing in the playbook and your teammates and all that stuff, because you don't have a good team unless you care for your guys. So, and I'm just overwhelmed by everything and all the. I mean, somebody sent me an article that was in the Buffalo newspaper today. I had no clue that was in there. The Falcons did a big post about me.
Wow.
Just left and right coming in, and I'm just overwhelmed. Like I didn't realize my impact that I had on a lot of people's lives. And I think that's the coolest part about it. I have guys that I spent 1-2 years with in the NFL, maybe just a couple weeks, because the NFL is so revolving, that like spoken to just a handful of times, and they're like, man, Pat, the impact you had on my life, like, you did it right, man. Like, congrats, you deserve everything you've earned. And it's like, man, if Kobe wasn't going on, I feel like I'd walk around and I'd be hugging everybody I'd see, and just giving up. I'm so appreciative. It's like I don't know how to express it enough. I'm so grateful.
Before I let you run, you know, South Carolina, obviously, you know, Shane. Well, now he's got another position to fill, which is the running backs coach. You're well aware of that. When you were in that building on Monday, what did you learn about the future of Gamecock football under your friend Shane Beamer?
Oh, the facilities. I mean, like, I borderline. I pulled up, and like Connor Shaw sent me this address to pull up to, and I'm like, dude, this is behind the old Carolina walk. Like, where are you sending me? And he goes, oh, no, wait till you drive back there. And I pulled in, and I'm like, holy moly. And he came and picked me up, and he toured me around. And then we went in and we talked to Shane for a good bit. And Shane was nice enough to let me step in on one of the offensive staff meetings. They were watching some tape, going through some cut-ups of stuff that they're going to implement. And was like, all right, Pat, the floor is yours. Let's see what you got. Like, are you interviewing me right now? I thought I was just touring.
Yeah, I hope he was.
And, thankfully it was something I was really familiar with. I don't know if that was planned or not, but I gave like some coaching points and just felt like an overwhelming just support from those coaches that were in that room with me. They're like, man, just come back around here. And like, please, when training camp starts up or when spring ball starts up, please come back. Like, I'd love for our guys to hear from you and learn from you, because you have so much wisdom, so much knowledge of this game. And I mean, obviously the highest level for a long time. So please keep your face around here. We want you a part of Gamecock football. I mean, you're so valuable to us. And, I had talked with Shane about some possible opportunities. So we'll see if anything comes to fruition. Like I said, we love Atlanta. We also love Columbia. So if the right situation arose, we would 100% up and leave and come back to Columbia, South Carolina, and wear that Block C and live a life well lived in Columbia, South Carolina. But I'm still weighing options on what's next for me. I've talked to the Atlanta Falcons a little bit. I've talked to Georgia Tech a little bit. I've had some topical conversations with Jack Easterby with the Houston Texans. So there's a lot of stuff going around, and I'm getting a feel for it. I'm very new to the coaching world or player development world, whatever world I'm trying to pursue. Who knows? But I'm learning a lot along the way, and I'm grateful for all the contacts that I had and people that have reached out to me and the support.
You know that we'll always be here for you, Pat. I've known you a long time, and you and I exchanged some messages last night, and I meant everything I said there. And you're a fine man, and you got a wonderful family, and you've got baby 3 on the way. So no matter what happens, you're going to be busy.
Yep.
And
yeah, no joke.
I God bless you, because I've got 2 and 3 right now. I'd jump off a cliff if I knew that was a possibility. But
he said he likes challenges.
He does.
He doesn't want the easy way.
Yeah, I'm going to send him the challenge of twins at some point in time and see if he likes that one.
Oh boy.
But I think I'm going to speak on behalf of a lot of Gamecock fans who don't actually know you personally. We have had multiple people reach out to us over the last couple of days and in extending heartfelt thanks and gratitude for your participation and service to the University of South Carolina, playing for the Gamecocks, representing them well for over a decade in the NFL. Of course, beating Clemson twice. I got that from somebody.
Yep.
They certainly appreciated that. And you scored against the Tigers as well up there in Death Valley, but that felt good.
I was 2 for 2 in Death Valley. That was my favorite stadium to play in. 2 games, 2 touchdowns.
That's right. But Pat, thank you for all your time today. Thanks for being a Gamecock and your friendship on a personal level. And today starts the first day of whatever's next on the DiMarco agenda. And I know whatever it is, you'll be incredibly successful.
You know what I'm most excited for is coming back to Columbia and watching Gamecock football. I haven't had that experience in a long time with playing in the NFL. So being back around my former players, my former roommates, like all that stuff, man, I've missed that a bunch. So I'm excited about hanging out at the Flint's condo and doing all that stuff and living a normal fall. So you'll see me in Columbia in some capacity. I'm excited for it, and I know Shane's doing an incredible job. I mean, he's working his tail off left and right to make sure he's doing a good job and also doing it right by the former players and by the current guys he's got in that building. So Shane's a rock star. He's going to knock it out of the park, and I'm really excited for him.
We're excited to see you soon. You're right. The Flint's condo is calling. It's only 8 months away, and we certainly look forward to that being ground zero for Gamecock tailgates once again in the fall of 2021 when all this COVID mess is out of here and 80,000 are able to pack right back in there. Pat, all the best, my friend. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, guys.
Great career. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See you.
There you go. Pat DiMarco, formerly of the University of South Carolina and 10 years in the NFL. And